Welcome to the Hidden Palace with Skyblaze.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. I am Skyblaze, and I am back with the Hidden Palace here on Radio SEGA. Yes, I've been away for a while, and thank you everybody who sent me good wishes while I was dealing with a pretty severe iron deficiency. So I have been on iron tablets for a couple of months now, and I have to take them for another 6 months, at least. So... Thank you everybody who's been bearing with me for this this time. It's been a bit of a pain. But yeah, we're getting things are getting better, so I finally started to improve, so I hope that you will hear a lot more from me this year. So, for today's topic, I have done quite a few reviews for many different third-party controllers as part of my day job. As some of you know, I'm a tech and gaming journalist, so I have reviewed various controllers and peripherals. So it's no surprise that quite a lot of companies have wanted to get a piece of the accessory pie when it comes to various consoles, and this has been going on for quite a long time. Some of them are a bit weird. So, I mean, going back to the Spectrum and Commodore 64, you can find some pretty wild controllers. Sega consoles are absolutely no exception. So I'm going to look at some of the odder controllers that were on the market back mostly around the Mega Drive era. So, who's on first? Well, it's the Batter Up baseball bat controller. Points to anyone who got that joke. This controller was created by Sports Science Incorporated, and this controller is a 24-inch foam-covered plastic baseball bat. Huh. Gosh. I wonder what this is for. So the packaging actually has the Sega seal of quality on it, which means that it is an approved controller. It's been approved and tested by Sega themselves. Thank you, Electric Boogaloo. Electric Boogaloo gets it! Yay! So, as you might... so, it's apparently compatible with at least 10 baseball Mega Drive games, or Genesis games, because this is America, and you know, baseball is mostly an American thing. Although it is very popular in Japan, apparently. So, the controller was released in 1994, and at least 10 Mega Drive games about baseball that were on the market at the time were compatible with it, and apparently later baseball titles could be made compatible with it. As you might expect with a controller that's shaped like something you'd swing, doing so allows you to swing the baseball bat in the game. It has a fairly primitive accelerometer in it, which is similar to the sort of thing that you would have in a Wiimote, but it's an earlier technology. So you've got a very early form of motion controls. You have access to your D-pad and other face buttons, but in addition to this, you also have 4 dip switches, which allows you to set what buttons are connected to the swing motion on the controller, which means that it's much easier to set it up for different types of game. I wonder if any of the YouTube mad lads have tried to play something super hard like, I don't know, Battletoads with it. That'd be fun. It retailed in the US for $69.99, and there were reports of a wireless version, which would have been sold for $129.99, which is almost double the cost of the wired controller. However, this was not the only sports-related controller that Sports Science Inc. brought to the market. If anyone is interested in golf, well, that's what we've got next. But first of all, we're going to have some music. So, from World Series Baseball, we have Playoffs, And then from the Streets of Rage remake, we have Baseball Field. So enjoy those, and I'll be back after this music break to talk a bit about a golf controller. Enjoy.
Hey there, Rexy here. While I'm not diving into the wonderful world of SEGA remixes, I like to look up and study lots of things about the world around us. That's why I'm glad to hear The Hidden Palace, hosted by Skyblaze, right here on Radio SEGA.
And we are back, and that was Streets of Rage Remake Baseball Field, and before that we had from World Series Baseball Playoffs. So next, and following a similar premise to the batter-up controller, this is a 26-inch, vaguely golf club-shaped controller. supposedly, its resemblance to a golf club is kind of not great. But, you know, it's a controller. What are you going to do? It allegedly lets you work on swing without needing to pay for an expensive membership to a local golf club. This controller is wireless, and oh dear. So, because we're talking about the Mega Drive era, that means when you're talking about wireless controllers, that usually means that it's RF, radio frequency, like remote control, or infrared, again, like some remote controls. And both of these, when it comes to like response times and lag, awful. I had a friend who had some like, I think it was supposed to be, there was two infrared controllers, and they were terrible. They were really awful. You had to be within like a foot of the console and the receiver in order to get it to work at all. It was really terrible. Anyway, this wireless controller is powered by two AA batteries and comes with the option to change between left and right-handed players, which is actually quite a nice touch. An irritating number of things tend to ignore the fact that left-handed people exist. Hello. Yes, that's me. The way the device works is actually different to the batter-up, as it uses infrared sensors, there we go, on the base unit to work out where and how hard you swing the club. There aren't any controller buttons on the club either, so instead you plug the base unit into into the player 1 port of the Mega Drive and the controller into the breakout or pass-through lead off the base station. So you daisy chain it off this peripheral. The differences continue as there are no dip switches to change the layout of the game you want to play. Instead, the base unit has a slot for adapter modules, but these are specific to a specific game or game series. So if you wanted to cover something that was not covered by the module you had to buy an appropriate one from Sports Science. And considering that we already covered that their batter-up controller was $70 for the cheaper version, I can't imagine that these were cheap. Especially when you find out how much this particular controller was. Yeah, the TV golf controller originally retailed for $130. No. Just no. I mean, a game that was packed with the control, the game adapter that was packed with the controller let you play PGA Tour golf. And by a stroke of luck, we actually worked with some of the later PGA games in the series, but if you had to, you paid $130, and then you had to shell out more for an adapter for whichever golf game you were playing. No. No. What are you doing? And that's in, like, late 80s, early 90s money. Who's paying that? Good lord. What's going on in the chat? Electric Boogaloo is helpfully posting pictures, which saves Greyfall from having to do it, I suppose. And it's both saying, wow, that's as much as a modern controller. Modern controllers are cheaper than that. I mean, the only one I can immediately think of that would be about that much is the DualSense Edge. And that's a ridiculously advanced controller. I mean, it's also quite fragile. I mean, I haven't done the inflation calculation, but yeah, it is. You can make a comparison if you factor in inflation, I suppose, but still, that's a lot of money for something that only works for one thing. I'm a grouch about controller prices. Bluetooth is a scam. It's not a scam, it's just really insecure and not as reliable as people like to say people say it is. Electric Boogaloo's put in is that a magazine page? I wonder what that's from. What's that from? Teeing off with TV golf and hitting all the bases, so presumably that's about the batter up? Yes. But yeah, you're talking about like quite old and unreliable technology, and it costs a lot of money, and you need all these extra things. I can't imagine that it was worth it. Anyway, let's have some music, shall we? So, from PGA Tour 96, we have the title theme. And then from Arnold Palmer Tournament Golf, we have the ending theme. The ending theme for this is far more majestic than a golf game deserves, frankly. But they go way harder than they needed to. You'll see what I mean. But enjoy this musical break, and I'll be back after this to cover our next controller. And we are back. And that was Arnold Palmer Tournament Golf, the ending theme. And from before that, they had the PGA Tour 96 title theme. So that ending theme for Arnold Palmer Tournament Golf is like... It sounds like it belongs to an RPG. It's so majestic. It's so weird that it's a golf game. My darling husband rightfully points out that there is a golf RPG out there, and that one's surprisingly good and surprisingly emotional for a game that is about golf. Arnold Palmer RPG, 18 Dungeons and Links. I mean, PGA RPG, yeah, okay. Number 16 is the Lava Zone. You could just imagine an RPG was like you miniaturized and you have to go through a crazy golf course. Or people are still playing on it. Or maybe that's just my brain. I am on a lot of painkillers today because I have a chronic illness and it has been kicking my ass a bit today. So maybe I'm just going a bit mad. The golf club of Zelda links to... Get out! Get out! You are fired! Moving swiftly on. So our next controller is a bit more quote-unquote normal in comparison to the baseball bat and golf club, but it's still pretty weird looking. My darling, if you could put a picture of it in the Discord chat, I would be grateful. Even though I am mad with you. This is the Energizer controller, which is made by Wild Things. You make my heart sing. Anyway, released sometime in the 1990s. I couldn't find that much information on it, save that it was released sometime in the early 1990s. So, I've got the name, I've got who made it, and not much else. Most of what the information I could find was actually from listings on eBay, of all things. Including the few images that I'm able to find. Electric Boogaloo could probably find more because they're just that good. But the first thing that you may notice is how many buttons and switches are on this thing. You have a 6-button controller with an additional button with which you can program special moves. An extra 2 buttons, one on the right shoulder and one underneath the D-pad. So you can use these as macro buttons, which you do get on some modern controllers. In addition to all of these buttons, each of the face buttons has switches which sets them to turbo or auto fire modes, along with overall slow and super slow modes. The turbo and auto fire was relatively common for third-party controllers back in this era, but the shape of the thing and the fact that it appears to be... I'm not... It's like, could you use this one-handed? I'm not sure. It's a very weird thing, and the way that the buttons are labelled is weird, and... I don't know, man. It's a bit odd. It's quite odd. Looks like it's about to say brains and shamble towards you. I don't think you're wrong. It's a nuclear reactor controller. I mean, yeah, it does look like it should be controlling an alien spacecraft or something. And yeah, it looks like you should be able to use it one-handed, but the suggested size of it... I don't know. Oops. So, yeah, there's not a huge amount of information about this thing. If anyone has one, or had one, please let me know, but it is a very weird looking controller. Not gonna lie. So, let's have some more music then. So it's optimized for throwing it in rage. Yeah, I can imagine it's a bit axe shaped, so you can throw it like an axe. Splendid. Right, let's have some more music then, shall we? So I've had a couple of requests. So from Electric Boogaloo, I had requested Streets of Rage 3 Shinobi Reverse, because Streets of Rage 3 was compatible with another weird peripheral that I've covered before, the SEGA Activator. Gosh, that was quite a long time ago that I talked about that thing. Yeah, I figured out the other day that it's as of, I think, September this year, it'll be 10 years that I've been doing this show. Which is terrifying. Anyway, moving on. And then our other request was from Souls, and it is from the Sega channel, the Boss Opera. Because, of course, you needed a peripheral to use the Sega channel. So enjoy those, and I'll be back after this to talk about the last controller for this evening.
Hello, my name is Gavi, and you're listening to The Hidden Palace with Skyblaze on Radio SEGA.
And we are back. And that was... where are we? Sega Channel Boss Opera, requested by Souls. And before that we had from Streets of Rage 3, Shinobi Reverse. That was requested by Electric Boogaloo. So, our last controller for this episode is a combination of interesting and weird. If my darling can put the next controller picture in the chat for me, that would be great. And this is the XE01AP. It is in fact the first analog controller created with a thumbstick and was made by the mad lads over at a company called Demper Micromsoft. Yeah, it's that thing. Which looks... I mean, I saw it and I saw Metroid. This is, but, this controller is exclusive to Japan, and, it has a kind of, like, miniature cult following in Japan, where it is referred to as the horseshoe crab controller, because of its resemblance to that aforementioned crustacean. And, yeah, it does have a weird face, but it has a face. It is a very strange controller, but yeah, I reckon it looks a bit like a Metroid. But I can see where they're coming from with a horseshoe crab. I'm going to lick my toe a bit. Turns out, however, that Demper Microsoft actually did work on a few games, and, well, work on the development and publishing of a few games, plus some more other controllers and RGB converters. But with this controller, the aforementioned analog stick, alongside that you have a stick on the right side, which moves left and right, and the buttons are in positions that you would usually find shoulder buttons on most controllers now. So that's a bit weird. I haven't got a really good sense of how large this thing is. But I can't imagine it's hugely comfortable to use to get to those upper buttons. But I have tiny hands, so I could be wrong. The remaining buttons are found on the face of the controllers are your typical start and select, but you do get auto fire and toggles for the Mega Drive or PC. That was pretty unusual for the time, actually having a controller that was compatible with PC or Mega Drive. Along with changing from digital to analog, presumably for the stick inputs. And yes, Electric Boogaloo is quite right. Demper have done a bunch of arcade to home ports at the time, including Afterburner 2, which is the music that I'm going to play. So I've got from Afterburner 2, we've got Final Takeoff, and then after that we have from Alien Syndrome, we have Boss number 3. And Framemeister, probably the most famous thing they did. It's an upscaler, fairly decent one by several accounts. What's that? Just see what Anthony's posted. That's so bizarre. But yeah, it's such a weird looking thing. So I can understand how it gained this kind of cult following, especially if it is like one of those things where it's like, actually, this is surprisingly useful for X application. So, let's have the music that I mentioned earlier. So we've got Afterburner 2, Final Takeoff, and then Alien Syndrome, Boss number 3. And then after that, it is time to enter the Chiptune Corner for the first time in 2026. Enjoy. And we are back. And that was Alien Syndrome boss number 3, and before that we have from Afterburner 2, Final Takeoff. So now we enter the Chiptune Corner. And for the first Chiptune Corner of 2026, I would like to introduce you to an Italian musician called Victor Love, perhaps better known as Master Boot Record. He is known for fusing chiptune with heavy metal and giving it a bit of an apocalyptic twist. While he usually uses 8-bit samples instead of actual gaming hardware, his inspiration very much comes from the world of computing and video games. For example, the track that I'm going to play for you is called 80486DX. And if you know what that references, you are probably as big a nerd as I am. Make of that what you will. I will post his Bandcamp into the Discord chat. So if you do like what I'm going to play, then you can check out some more of his work. You can also find some of his stuff on YouTube if you just search for Master Boot Record chiptune. So here we go. We have Master Boot Record and 80486DX. Have a listen, let me know what you think, and enjoy. And we are back, and that was Master Boot Record 80486DX. Obviously, it's not to everybody's taste, but I quite like heavy metal, so I liked it. If you did like it as well, then please check out his Bandcamp and download and buy some tracks or albums. This is how you support artists that you like. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. If you have any ideas for topics I can cover, you can get in touch with me via Discord, where I am Skyblaze42. Or you can reach me on Blue Sky, where I am at Blazing Skies. I tend to have like very similar profile pictures, and so it's usually easy to spot. Alternatively, you can use the official Radio Sega social media channels. I am not sure if we have a Gavi today. On the other hand, tomorrow, not only does Kevin of LMC have something very special planned for the LMC block, we also have Rexy and Sega Mixer Drive returning. Yay! So everybody should tune in for that, because of Rexy is brilliant and LMC is also pretty good. I have a suspicion I know what's going to happen tomorrow, so you should definitely tune into the LMC block. I have been Skyblaze, and this has been The Hidden Palace here on Radio Sega. One last track to go out on, which has been inspired by the Cult of the Lamb expansion that I've been playing all week. Oh, that's nice, Electro Boogaloo, thank you very much. It's nice to be back. I have missed you all. But yeah, I have one last track, and it's another kind of metalish one. There was a name that appeared on the credits for this song where I was like, what, really? But it's based on Cult of the Lamb. It is actually from an official album. I will post the link to it. Refsig says, thank you, Skyblaze. I spent this cooking and washing dishes instead of participating, but I was still listening and enjoying it. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate everybody who tunes in, even if you don't get involved in the chat or anything. If you're listening and enjoying it, that is the important thing. So, as I said, I've been Skyblaze. This has been The Hidden Palace. I hope you've all had a good time. Take care, and good night.
Enjoyed the show? Check out the full Radio Sega live schedule at radiose.ga/shows. Radio Sega, playing the best Sega music 24/7.